It took us until July 23rd, but finally the biggest news of the Phoenix Suns offseason, Jordan Goodwin's home.
Well, they don't call him Jordan Bad Loss.
Psychos and sickos unite for a wee breaking news edition of PHNX Suns, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. And welcome home, Jordan Goodwin. You can visit all the Circle Ks that you want right here in Phoenix, as the Phoenix Suns have claimed the former Suns guard, once a part of the Bradley Beal deal, off of waivers after the Lakers waived him. Welcome into PHNX Suns. I'm Erik. That's Gerald. We got Stephen, Juice Man, a.k.a. Freckled Mamba, a.k.a. Ayrton, behind the Mac and making all the magic happen. But of course, the most important people, all of you in the chat, here live on YouTube after the fact, listening on audio, live on TV. Thank you all so much for tapping in a little bit earlier than our usual time, but we're not just talking about Jordan Goodwin today. We will also rank the top 16 remaining free agents that the Suns can use now their final roster spot on. But before we get into that, housekeeping. Like button, subscribe button, they're there and they're free. Make sure you hit them. Also, if you're listening on audio, 5-star reviews go a long way to support Pookie and the Pals. And the Pals are here to talk about Jordan Goodwin. Demon home, Gerald, he's back.
He is. He's back, and he fits in with the identity of this Suns team, I think, a little bit better than last time. We saw the last time he was here, the way that his defensive intensity, the way that his ability to generate steals and deflections, the way that he crashed the offensive glass, these were all areas where he helped the Suns, but didn't get a lot of help in that regard outside of pretty much Josh Okogie. We've heard all summer the Suns talking about wanting to get more defensive-minded, more gritty, and Jordan Goodwin fits in perfectly with that. So this is a low-risk pickup. I'll have my expectations tempered for how many minutes he's going to play necessarily, but I think this is a good pickup when you're looking at those last two roster spots that they have open.
Yeah, it's a great one for me. It's a grand slam on the margins because he brings a specific style and specific skill set that no one else on the team has at his position in particular. We talked about who's guarding guards for the Suns. You would hope for it to not have to be Jalen Green or Devin Booker. And now because of having players like Jordan Goodwin around, you can get away with stashing them on non-shooters, whether that be a big or stashing them on perimeter-oriented players. Because Jordan Goodwin can go and just guard 94 feet and do that every single possession to where it sets a tone for everything else to come for them defensively. It puts their bigs in a position to where they can be more comfortable defending and not have to be as activity-based with it because of that. But also, the biggest thing, it puts Ryan Dunn in a perfect position when you get into secondary lineups to where it's not Ryan Dunn, save us, please. It's not Ryan Dunn, can you please be better in your process than you should be as a second-year defender and defend without fouling. It's like, no, we can put someone else on some of these guys. You can roam a little bit. You can be in the passing lanes a little bit more, provide help. And then you can switch. And if you're switching with Jordan Goodwin, is there really anything leverage-wise that the Suns are losing?
Not really. I mean, here's the thing with Jordan Goodwin that I like. And I like what you said about grand slam on the margins. I think the margins is a really big part there. And what you said, Gerald, when you focused on the identity. There's not a single player on this roster that doesn't have a little grit to them right now. I mean, imagining a lineup with Jordan Goodwin and Dylan Brooks and Ryan Dunn on the court at the same time, I mean, that's hell. But the thing is, like, Jordan Goodwin's not going to be your backup point guard. That's Colin Gillespie. This is your third-string point guard behind Devin Booker. I don't expect him to play a ton, but I do expect him to get some run. And I think what I like the most about the on-court basketball fit is that if you look at all the other guards that are on the Phoenix Suns roster right now, Gerald, Jordan Goodwin can play alongside All of them. He could play alongside Devin Booker. He could play alongside Jalen Green. He could play alongside Colin Gillespie. He could play alongside Grayson Allen if you want to throw him in there as well. He doesn't overlap with anybody. He brings a unique skill set. And for a contract that we can get into the details from Bobby Marks here in a second, is basically almost a free swing on him. I mean, this is a really good move for the Suns, but it's not like, okay, now the Suns are going to be in playoff contention because they brought Jordan Goodwin back.
Right. It's a smart move on the margins, like we've been saying. I like the move. I like the fact that he can play with pretty much any guard in the backcourt because of his ability to defend both guard positions, because of his ability to relieve guys like Ryan Dunn from having to shoulder that point of attack defense all the time. So I like it in that respect. We do have a tweet from Bobby Marks kind of explaining the contract that Goodwin has that they're picking up off waivers. The Lakers waived him, I think, 3 days ago. It's a $2.3 million contract, but only $25,000 of that is guaranteed. The remainder is fully protected if not waived by January 7th. So they have until January 7th until the rest of that money becomes guaranteed. So they've got a couple months to take a flyer on him. If it doesn't work out, you waive him and you open up a roster spot again and see who's available at that point in time. But for now, I like the move. It's a good move. It's a move that fits with the identity that they're trying to establish. When Jordan Goodwin was here, I'm not sure that certain guys on the roster got a fair shake because Frank Vogel was just trying to find something from those vet minimum guys. I don't count on Jordan Goodwin running a ton of the offense. He's not that type of point guard, but defensively is where he's really going to help you the most. He just has to kind of prove that he can do enough offensively, especially as a three-point shooter, to stay on the court.
The Suns don't need guys that are going to come in and take more shots, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Dillon Brooks is going to be someone that's never going to be shy about taking shots. He's also not a primary option on offense.
Yeah.
You have enough with Jalen Green. You have enough with Devin Booker on that front. It's all about the margins for me, and that's why I mentioned that he's a grand slam on that part, because he does things that they're going to need in an ancillary fashion to help bridge whatever level of play it is they ultimately get to.
Mm-hmm.
Should he stick around after that deadline date? I think the other big thing for me is defense definitely comes to the forefront, but on offense, he's going to have bad defenders stashed on him.
Yeah.
So one thing he did with the Lakers last season with Luka Doncic as well as with LeBron, bring those bad defenders primarily into action, set screens for them on the ball and off it, see how that pulls at the strings of a defense and how it creates the advantage for the team on offense. So I think that's something that he can naturally do with Jalen Green and Devin Booker, make their offense a little bit more nuanced and more easy to approach. I think he's a smart player too, more than anything else, and a high character guy. No different than we kind of spoke with Drew Holiday yesterday.
Yeah, high character guy. Also, his maybe biggest strength, besides being scrappy on defense for somebody at his position, his size, is his rebounding. Mm-hmm. And that's been a consistent theme, the alignment. Hey, I'm wearing the alignment shirt.
There you go.
If you're the one who asked me to wear it, Girth Jr., I know you asked me to wear it. Here, look at that. Aligned. They're aligned in wanting guys that can go and create second chance opportunities to go and grab those rebounds. They might be throwing out double big lineups, but they also can go small ball as well. And Jordan Goodwin is somebody that can play into that. And I understand there are a lot of people who are in the chat who are saying, oh, it's a backup. Who cares? What is one of the biggest what?
It's July 23rd. We care.
We care.
This is huge news.
But what is also one of the biggest complaints, Gerald, that overarchingly was for the Phoenix Suns during the Big Three era, was that they didn't do this right.
They didn't build around their big three right.
They missed on the margin moves, right? And missing on the margin moves or using them wrong was leading to bad basketball.
Right.
And having a guy that you can break glass in case of emergency and you can throw out there and at least trust him that he can bring a discernible skill. Like when Kobe Bryant gets drafted, it's, okay, we know he's a certifiable shooter, right? We know he has an NBA skill. Jordan Goodwin has an NBA skill. He has a floor and he has a ceiling, and he's not going to be a superstar. I don't want him to be the backup point guard. I don't want him to be the first guy off the bench. But Gerald, if Jordan Goodwin has to get thrown out there for a couple possessions or a couple minutes at a time, or, God forbid there's an injury, I feel confident in that, maybe more so than a name that was rumored earlier today, even though I do like Justin Edwards. Like, I think Jordan Goodwin fits more into what this team wants and what this team needs.
You mean Jared Butler?
Sorry, Jared Butler.
Okay,
yeah, not Justin Edwards. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry,
I just wanted to make sure I had
scarred by a Jay Butler.
Yeah, wrong Jay Butler that we were looking at. But no, I agree with you. What he does in terms of, it's not just like one set skill in terms of wreaking havoc defensively. It's two for me, because the crashing the offensive boards fits in exactly with what Jordan Ott and the Suns have been talking about in terms of wanting to cut more, wanting to defend on the perimeter more aggressively, wanting to crash the offensive glass. These are all consistent themes with some of the guys that they're bringing in. So again, I don't know, like Jordan Goodwin doesn't move the needle a ton for me, but it is about maximizing every possible inch of your roster to give yourselves as many chances as you can to find contributors that fit in with the playing style that you want to establish. And I do think, like, look, it was a 29-game sample size that he had with the Lakers last year. He was on the Lakers, and they waived him. Then he was in the G League for the Lakers, and they signed him to a two-way near the end of the season. So he only played 29 games for the Lakers. He did shoot 38% from three on 2.3 attempts. It's not a ton of attempts. It's not a ton of games, but that was kind of the first time in his career that he's been serviceable from three-point range. So if he can just do that in whatever minutes that he gets in Phoenix, that goes a long way in being able to keep him on the floor, because if you have just decent three-point shooting, if you have offensive rebounding, and then if you have the havoc that he can wreak defensively, those are things that can help in spot minutes if he does get on the floor.
The challenge for Goody is that it's also what ultimately took away his value on the defensive end come playoff time with the Lakers, and that's, is he taking the shots that teams are conceding to him? Is he taking the shots that an offense naturally creates for him because of the ways he's defended? Or is he passing those up and then the shot quality goes down because he passes up the most open look that they get? Also, like you said, he did enjoy some of his best three-point shooting, and does that sustain in some capacity too. But I think just generally he has to take the shots that this offense is going to be able to generate for him. I think that's going to be maybe his biggest hurdle going into this season, learning from what happened with him last year.
And let's say it doesn't work out. Let's say you get into the season, it's December, he's in the rotation, he's not working, he's not taking his shots, maybe his shots aren't falling, whatever the concerns are with him, because like he is a fringe NBA player right now. He's gotten waived. He might have a spot in the league, he might not. Let's say that happens. Waive him. Yeah. You open up a roster spot, and now you're in a spot where we talked about trades yesterday. You can aggregate contracts and you can bring multiple players back. Like, you could have more freedom. Maybe there's another guy in the G League. Maybe you want to open up a full-time roster spot for a Kobe Bryant or for an Isaiah Livers, right? And you're looking at all of that and you're saying, like, what's the downside to adding Jordan Goodwin right now? I don't see a lot of it, because there are other free agents, and what we're going to do for the latter part of this show once we wrap up this conversation about Jordan Goodwin is we're going to rank the top 16 remaining free agents. You're not handcuffing yourself. You're not giving him a large contract. You're not stepping on any toes. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out and you can make that decision before January 7th, it costs you $25,000, which for us is a lot of money. For Matt Ishbia and the Phoenix Suns, it's a literal penny. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think the only downside, and it is a temporary one for me, is that our friend David Nash, the 4-Point Play on Twitter, pointed out that based on his math, this claim puts them about $21,000 over the luxury tax line, which means if you are looking at the MLE, you're suddenly going from that $14 million non-tax paying mid-level exception to, I think it's like $5.1 million as a tax paying team. With that being said, we've talked about a lot of free agents, and most of the remaining guys that are out on this market are not worth your MLE. They're not worth, and using part of your MLE, especially if it's more than the tax paying amount, that hard caps you. So I think for people that were expecting them to go out there and sign someone like a more recognizable name with that MLE, you're probably disappointed. But realistically, none of the guys that are left on the market were worth that anyway. And you can easily dip back below the luxury tax before the end of the season to avoid being, a luxury tax repeater team. And you can open up that MLE at that point in time. You can trade to absorb a player into that MLE. So they still will have flexibility if they decide to waive Jordan Goodwin later on down the line.
That's a tough blow. But again, you have that kind of ability to get yourself out of jail for free in a sense with the deadline that comes up on that. So you get to see a little bit of it as an appetizer. And if you don't really want it, you can kind of push them to the side and move forward with a little bit of space.
All the names we're going to talk about today, I think none of them deserve the full MLE.
No.
So I'm not upset about if you got maybe the full MLE at the beginning of free agency, then we could have a different conversation. And I know that was a big topic that we dove into with how long are you going to wait to waive and stretch Bradley Beal to open up that MLE. All these MLE worthy guys are getting snagged up in free agency. I think that's definitely something where they've done their homework. They've scouted out and they said, well, there's nobody here who's going to get the MLE. Let's take a shot on Goodwin, and then it could be done on that. Any final thoughts on Jordan Goodwin before we take our first break and then we dive into the top remaining free agents out there, because there is a lot of confusion in chat. Gerald, the Suns do have another roster spot after this.
They do. They still have a 15th roster spot. They had one open because Kobe Brea is on a two-way, and then they opened up a second with the Bradley Beal news. So now they still have one open.
Do we have final thoughts on Goody back in the Valley?
Nope. Let's do it.
All right. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you're new around here, we have a Die Hard sale for just $36 right now because of those football guys. Training camp has started, so we've given you a limited time intro offer, $36. We keep on throwing these at you, but I don't know when the next one's going to come up, so take advantage while you can. Jump in that Die Hard Discord. They knew we were going live early before anybody else did. We give you exclusive content. You get access to all of Gerald's articles. You get extra film breakdowns from Stephen. If you're a Merc fan, which you should be because it's the best basketball team in the Valley, he had, 30 minutes for Die Hards of film breakdown?
33 to be exact.
If you're a hoop head, you got to be a diehard. Jump in the diehard Discord. Go phnx.com/join. Scan the diehard QR code on your screen. We're going to rank the top remaining free agents, and we're going to have fun doing it. It's Pookie and the Pals, and we'll be back right after our first break. I'm heading to California tomorrow, and just know I'll be rocking my branded bills even when I'm traveling across the country, because not only do I want to stand out and rep PHNX, yes, even on my vacation, it's so comfortable. Their hats are snapback, truckers, fitted beanies, or tees. They have you covered with style, but also with performance, and I would say no brand meshes the two better together than branded bills. Plus, they're a local company out of Phoenix, Arizona, out of Mesa, Arizona, but they work with the Phoenix Suns. I know there's a big difference between Mesa and Phoenix, so I'm sorry for getting those confused. But I'm not confused when I say they have partnerships with 40 universities, including fantastic universities like Arizona State and other ones like U of A. But at least they're helping out the community, right? Listen, get your own custom apparel, get comfortable custom apparel, and get it for 15% off because you listen to us. Head to brandonbills.com, use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. That's brandonbills.com, use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. I'm Mr. Shade over here, and I would love to stay in it for as long as possible. And maybe you have an outdoor living space that you've been avoiding because it's been hot recently, or maybe you can't go outside during the winter because it's too cold. Well, guess what? All Pro Shade Concepts has you covered on both fronts. Extend your outdoor living space with a custom fit awning with hundreds of designs and colors to choose from to match any home. Roll down patio shades, block out the sun, can keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler in the shade. There's a big difference between 115 in the sun and 95 in the shade. With hundreds of colors and durable fabric to withstand the AZ sun, you can get manual, you can get motorized. They can replace and fix most old or outdated patio shades and motorized awnings, while they can just do about everything. And you can trust them. Voted #1 by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in 2024, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and of course 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. Call 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com right now to schedule your free estimate. What's up, Melissa, Tony, Level Outlook, JDQ, Unfriendly M, Ignacio, Andy, everybody coming out. Star-studded crew for the Jordan Goodwin Breaking News Emergency Pod. It's July. Let us live. We're going to do a breaking news
This
pod.
is important.
For Jordan Goodwin. I did one for Nigel Hayes Davis, man. I'm doing one for Jordan Goodwin. He's an NBA player right now. Also, we have a pickleball tournament coming up this Saturday. Go phnx.com/events. Portion of the proceeds go to Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Central Arizona. Come play some pickleball. And if you're a diehard, you get a diehard discount. But let's get into ranking now the top 17 remaining free agents. Now, we did have Jordan Goodwin on this list, and now Jordan Goodwin is going to be off the list. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a lot of names, and we are going to basically rank them here live on the show. So it's kind of like a tier, but without the tiers, if that makes sense. First things first, like we mentioned, most of these guys are not going to be needle movers. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to get into it. So let's start with a name that this morning was rumored to be linked to the Phoenix Suns. That is Jared Butler, a different Jay Butler. Gerald, the Suns have not reached an agreement with him.
No.
Despite reports.
They have not. I know that there is interest there. So if I had to guess, it might be something like a non-guaranteed deal, maybe like a training camp invite if they were to bring Butler on board. But this is a guy that kind of popped for the Sixers in the back half of the year there. I think he averaged around 11 points and 4 assists a game. That team was decimated by injuries. They weren't very good. And when he has popped, it has been on bad Sixers and Wizards teams. So we should bear that in mind. But I think he's entering his 5th year now. So he's only 24 years old. He's got room to grow. Could be an interesting combo guard, point guard type to look into. I don't know, Stephen, would you feel about Jared Butler?
I talked about them not needing someone that's going to take more shots.
Mm-hmm.
He is a player that's going to take shots,
yes.
But I think the thing that also comes with him is the fact that he can create shots.
Yeah.
And so having more than just 1 or 2 people that are capable of wearing both of those, especially from the helm of a kind of guard-led offense, I think that's important. Helps to build out lineups a little bit more for them. He's not the small type of guard that's going to be doing so as well. I think that helps them too. As far as ranking goes, though, where would you guys see him at?
I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love him. He'll probably be closer to the bottom for me. Because we're going to be talking about, just to give a teaser on some of the names, we're talking about, Delano Banton, who's the GOAT, right? Al Horford, Gary Payton II, DeLon Wright, Amir Coffey. And some of these guys are probably going to be too good or out of the Suns' range or are rumored to go to other teams. But I think, respectfully speaking, I'm looking at least somewhere in the double digits. And we can move people around,
Yeah,
too.
we can. Let's put him at, 12 for now.
12 works with me.
12 for now.
Okay. So we will throw him at 12. That is Jared Butler, not Jimmy Butler. He will be at 12. Let's keep it going with Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh, man, this is probably number 2 for me. I know that Gambo has already shot Brogdon down, so we know that it's probably not happening. But if we're talking about ranking remaining free agents, that would be a fit. I feel like Brogdon being able to play either guard position, being able to run some offense for you, he makes sense. But I think the Suns are very high on Colin Gillespie, and I think getting a guy like Brogdon would move Gillespie back in the pecking order. So maybe that is the goal, is to continue to stay young, continue to evaluate the younger pieces that you have, and not bring in a guy who's, in his mid-30s.
Yeah, Malcolm Brogdon. I was about to say Malcolm Butler. We talking about all these college players that I've been watching over the years. Malcolm Brogdon, for as good of a player as he is, the question looming about his health is it's to a different level than it is with other players that you do question health with. Mm-hmm. And to your point, Gerald, if they're already rumored to, or at least be in the process of, or entertaining the thought of Jared Butler, you don't look at someone like Malcolm Brogdon that's also going to be competing for minutes as a backup point guard / combo guard.
Right.
Doesn't make too much sense for the Suns. So I would stash him more towards the back end and back half of things because of the relevance to the team.
Yeah, I guess, are we ranking it just for the Suns?
And I think that brings
that
into question.
I think we're ranking it just for the Suns. And
just for the Suns?
I think just for the Suns. And not like Jordan Goodwin changes a ton, but I think if you add a guard, I think all of the guards here are going to take a hit.
Yeah, that's fair.
So are we doing it off of the players' level of play, or are we doing it off of fit for the Suns based off of the
we
things
should probably do it for fit. And I think with the Jordan Goodwin news, we should probably put him around 8.
Yeah, I think anywhere from 8 to 10 I'm fine with. We can go with 8, and again, we can move things around.
A lot of the guys on our list are guards. So we're going to run out of spot in the back half.
All the guards. It's just nobody's in the top 5.
Yeah.
Okay. We have Jared Butler at 12, Malcolm Brogdon at 8. Also, I want to point out Malcolm Brogdon, not the healthiest guy in the world, which is also part of this, where you want somebody who's going to be available.
I also don't think he was in a particular rush to get back for the Blazers or the Wizards. I will say that.
Okay. Understandably so.
Let's talk about Gerald's sweetheart, Let's talk about DeAnthony Melton. Obviously, there are rumors that DeAnthony Melton's going to be joining the Warriors, but we're not going to take that into account here. We're just going to talk about basketball with the Suns. Where does DeAnthony Melton rank for you, Gerald, and why is he number one?
He's definitely still number one. I don't care.
Come on.
Goodwin's on a non-guaranteed deal, and DeAnthony Melton can do a lot of the things that Jordan Goodwin does, but also has proven himself on the offensive end in addition to that. He's a much improved three-point shooter, can guard either guard spot, and offensively, like, he was having a great season with the Warriors until he got hurt, and that's the only reason why they traded him. Like, that's why they're bringing him back, because they liked his fit there. I would still put him at number one, but I'm open to, obviously we've got some forwards to get to later.
We have Delano Banton to get to. We can't put the number one spot and claim it when Delano Banton is still on the board.
We definitely can't.
Stephen, how do you feel about DeAnthony Melton in a vacuum?
Yeah, a lot of the things I said about Jordan Goodwin, copy and pasted to him as well. And for a few of those reasons, but also reasons independent of him for players that we'll be getting to, I would put him 3 or 4.
Okay. I'm good with 3. He's probably the only player that we're going to talk about today that I would be, well, maybe like one of 2 that I'd be willing to dip into the MLE to sign.
Part of it. Yeah, not the full ML.
Not
I was about to say, Gerald, listen, man, I know you like DeAnthony
although
Melton.
They are in the luxury tax now, so the full MLE is only $5.1 million.
Yeah.
So,
but not the full ML.
Not the full if they duck the luxury tax again.
Well, let's get to my guy. We got to your guy.
Let's do it.
Let's get to my guy. Let's look at Delano Banton.
16. Just kidding.
You're a funny guy, Gerald.
Thank you.
You're a funny guy. Listen, I think with Delano Banton, I might be higher on him than most, but I do think that when you're looking at guards and if you're trying to take these young shots, right, and you're trying to kind of build for the future, I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star, but a 6'8" guard, Steven, that can do what he does would be a decent addition to, like, say, hey, let's get you in here on a vet minimum, maybe part of the MLE, and let's just see what you can do from there. I'm on board with that. How do you feel?
For Amir Coffey?
No, Delano Banton.
For Delano, yeah. because you already brought in Jordan Goodwin, I just don't see, like, they serve the same purpose for me. Like, I know Delano has significantly more size, but as far as role that they would play for this team, they already got somebody that's in that spot now while entertaining the thoughts of another guard. So I'm like, I don't, because of the information we know now, what he would have been like 5 or 6 for me, he's probably closer to the Jared Butler.
I can't do that.
Guys now.
I can't put him in double digits.
Well, I'll say let's compromise and put him at like 7.
I can live with 7. I can live with 7.
All right,
so
here's what's gonna happen.
So he's going above Malcolm Brogdon. That's what we're doing with the list right now.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I'm playing off of what we established.
Honestly, if you told me that I could have one of those guys on my team this year for what they're gonna cost, I think I'd rather have Delano Banton.
Erik, stop it, man.
I'd prefer Brogdon, but it's really not that big of a difference for me.
We'll put Brogdon at 7 and Banton at 8, and then when Delano Banton is an all-star this year, y'all can shut up and say I was right, okay?
The G League does do all-stars. Sorry, that was disrespectful.
Yeah, that was disrespectful to my guy. Don't worry. We'll show you. Revenge tour incoming for.
I still don't even like 7, 8. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But
you want to put Brogdon higher?
Put him at 6.
6?
6.
Okay, we can put him at 6.
I think that's fair.
We're making Ayrton work overtime over there.
Okay.
Because Erik can't make up his
mind. Because Erik can't make up his mind? You're the one telling him to move it.
You're the one telling me.
We agreed to put Brogdon at 8 as a group, and you're putting this on me. Pookie the Pals is over.
You can't. It would never started if you ask me. But
I'm not showing up tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, we knew that already. But you can't tell me Malcolm Brogdon is on the same level as Delano Banton.
Exactly, you can't. Delano Banton's better.
Respectfully to both of those two, but
yeah, I love a good bit. Okay, how good is Ben Simmons though? We know the reporting from Gambo is that the Suns are not interested in Ben Simmons. There has been other reporting out there that they are. It seems like Ben Simmons' agents are working overtime right now to get his name out there. He's a guard, but he's the biggest, most forwardy guard that we're going to talk about today. Where does he fall in our remaining free agents ranking?
I'd probably put him somewhere in the 7 to 10 range. I think I personally would probably rather take a flyer on someone like a Banton just to see what the potential's like, because Ben Simmons at this point, we kind of know what he is. But I will say, in terms of knowing what he is, Ben Simmons is still a good defender. He's not great, like all defensive caliber like he used to be. Obviously, we know he's kind of got the yips around the basket. And you look at his numbers when he joined the Clippers and was on a better team, he did not play as much. He did not play as well. So his impact was a little bit more muted. But the defense and the size is something for me that I think he could potentially slot in as your starting four. I would rather see Ryan Dunn there. So maybe, honestly, that might be why I rank him lower than higher. But I'd probably say somewhere 7 to 10.
I would like to see him around either that 5 spot or that 7 spot just for me.
Okay.
I still not going to say I believe in Ben Simmons as far as him being drafted where he was, the expectations that came with that. But I believe in him as a role player at this stage in his career, if he's with the right team to kind of put him in those positions. And I think the Suns are a team that would be able to kind of have him in that specific style of role. He's a player that, if you're talking about you have 2 combo guards, but more shooting guards than point guards at the top of your roster, he's a player that naturally you could put next to either one of those 2, and he can obviously defend in place of them as well, guarding their position, but also on offense, put them in positions. He can run an effective and efficient pick and roll.
Yeah.
Can make pocket passes, can make every pass in the book to create rotations. And if you're telling me he's running an initial pick and roll and it's Jalen Green and or Devin Booker spaced around him, those are 2 guys that you want to create as much catch and shoot or playing off of closeout scenarios as you can. Ben Simmons gives you the opportunity.
I think the response about Ben Simmons in the chat is funny because somebody's like, can we put him at 2? And somebody's like, can we get him off the list completely? I don't think Ben Simmons is bad. He's not the number 1 overall pick. And I get it. And that can maybe turn some people off. He has very clear weaknesses, obviously shooting being number 1 of those. But I actually think he fits in pretty well with this roster. I think that positionally what he can guard, like as much as you would want Ryan Dunn to get more of that action, I think Ben Simmons is much more well suited to guard bigs and 4s than Ryan Dunn is at this point. Same thing with Dillon Brooks, even though I would say those 2 are better defenders than Ben Simmons right now. There is a positional gap right now at the 4. And to me, that's where Ben Simmons would fit in. Now, with other bigs that can't shoot, or at least we don't know if they can shoot, with Malawach and Williams and Nick Richards, maybe he files in more as like a small ball 5. But I don't hate it. I think personally, I would probably rather take a shot on Ben Simmons than Malcolm Brogdon because of the positional overlap there at guard.
Yeah.
So I would put him at 5 or at 6 and bump Brogdon down to 7. But I'm not going to be mad if we put Ben Simmons below Malcolm Brogdon because I think Brogdon's a better player than him.
Let's do Ben Simmons at 5 with the potential to move up to 4 because I think Stephen made a point about being able to run a pick and roll. The Suns do not have a ton of players that can do that. They have Devin Booker. Jalen Green is going to run pick and rolls, but he hasn't been historically very efficient in that. And Colin Gillespie. And that's kind of it. So like having another guy, especially since Mark Williams and Kaman Malawach are a lot of their offense is going to be predicated on that. Having a guy like Ben Simmons wouldn't be the worst idea.
And the caveat that doesn't get spoken too much with double big lineups, if you're considering Ben Simmons a big, which naturally he is, he's a big that has the ball in his hands in a unique way, no different than guards does. That allows for your double big to exist on offense in a way different from, okay, how do we space both of these 2? What are they doing when they're off the ball? If he's got the ball in his hands, you don't have to worry about him spacing. You have to account for him. Otherwise, he's just driving to the paint and getting paint touches galore. So I think that caveat helps to unlock the double big in a way different from if it's Malawach and Williams or Malawach and insert other big here.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they take a shot on him. Obviously, the reports are that they're not going to, but I wouldn't be mad if they did. So right now, just for those listening on audio, just to give you an idea, we have DeAnthony Melton at 3 out of 16, then Ben Simmons at 5, Malcolm Brogdon at 6, Delano Banton at 8, underrated king, and then Jared Butler at 12.
This man.
Before we get to the other players that are still out there, where would you guys have put Jordan Goodwin?
Probably in that 7 to 9 range.
I think I'd probably have him 9.
Okay.
I would have rather had, shocker, I would have rather had Banton over him.
Yeah.
But I like Goody. I think 9 is a good spot. Where would you put him?
If Banton is where he is, which is about where he should be, Goody would be at no less than 7 for me.
You're such a hater, bro.
And again, everybody
such a
that's
hater.
been watching us since end of May into June knows that I'm very good. I'm very big on Banton, but I'm higher on Goody than I am on Banton.
Are you higher on Russell Westbrook than all of them? Where does the former MVP fall for you in your top 16? Let's use Ben Simmons as the gauging point here.
He's and this is in respect to Russell Westbrook,
Mm-hmm.
where he is now, what the Suns have on their roster, how defenses guard him, the ways in which he will have to be used on defense as well when they're on the defensive end of the floor. He's probably in that 7 spot for me right now.
I was probably leaning towards like 9. Wouldn't be mad at 7, but I honestly would rather, if like we're going guard, he's one of the guards that I would probably want least in terms of just fit. Like I do think he brings positives like being able to get downhill, being able to run a pick and roll, but the shot selection and the shot efficiency is just not great, even though he did have a good year for Denver last year.
He did. I think maybe out of a lot of the guys we're going to talk about today, maybe away from a few, he's available. I think he's probably one of the bigger floor raisers when he's on the court over an 82-game stretch because of the effort, because of the rebounding, the playmaking, the fact that he can take over a quarter when he is hitting shots. And maybe you don't want that because the next quarter he's going to be taking every single shot imaginable. I think Russell Westbrook wouldn't be a terrible fit on this team, but I think maybe more so than all the other guards we've talked about today, the Jordan Goodwin signing, to me, it's like Russell Westbrook light almost, who's not going to take all the shots. You're going to get a hustle guy who's going to go in and try to grab the rebounds and whatnot. Jordan Goodwin can essentially play forward for the team at times, like de facto. Russell Westbrook would probably slide in the same way. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if people said they wanted him over Delano Banton just because he's proven. I would rather take a flyer on Banton, so I'd have Russell Westbrook at 9. But I would understand if at the end of the day the Suns did add Russ.
Let's put him at 9 for now, because once we're done, we're gonna review it and
Sure.
make changes, I'm sure. Let's put him at 9, just because I don't feel great about having both. Like, I don't want to do this to Booker. I don't want to have Russell Westbrook and Jalen Green in their shot selection both on the same team.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound great to me.
I hate to be this dude. If Russ is 9, Delano Benson has to be number 10. He has to be number 10. If we're doing this and you have to make all of this make sense,
Why don't we swap? Why don't we put Russ at 8?
Such
That's
a
cool.
hater.
That
And
works
put
for me.
Banton at 9.
that works for me. Yep.
You are
Banton at 9.
such a hater.
I'm not. You can paint it. You can paint it that way if you want to.
You are a hater. You just want to get me mad.
Mhm.
That's all you want. You're rage baiting me right now, Steven. How dare you?
That's tough, man.
All right, how about another guard? Let's get this guard party. Keep it going. How about Gary Payton II? Definitely above Delano Banton.
I was big on GP. First of all,
I
if you're
was-
impersonating me, you better put a little bit more bass in your voice. Anyway, that's beside the point. GP2, I was definitely high on, but he's literally copy and paste Jordan Goodwin.
Right.
He just does certain things on offense better than Goody does.
Yeah.
I'm dying, bro.
You can go ahead and hold on to that one.
I'm dying, bro.
So no, because of the Goodwin news that we received, which had us start our podcast early today,
Yeah.
I will bump him down to after Benton because of the
Oh,
fit,
there you go.
the overlapping with Goody. Now, if he doesn't get on someone's roster and you replace Goody with GP2
Yeah.
at that deadline date or shortly thereafter, then I'm all okay with that too.
I would have had him at 7, and before the Goodwin news, I might have had him even higher than that.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with 10. I do think, like you said, Steven, if they don't keep Goodwin for the whole season, if they waive him at any point and GP2 is still available, then you're basically upgrading the Jordan Goodwin archetype with a guy like that. So,
We got a lot more names we're going to get to today. What about Campaign, Amir Coffey, Chris Boucher, Bol Bol, anybody? How about Al Horford? We're going to get to all of them. We are ranking the remaining free agents and why they're all better than Delano Banton. And we'll keep it going right after our final break. I said that Russell Westbrook might be the biggest floor raiser out of all these guys, but if you need new flooring, you need to check out Empire today. It's your best bet for new flooring, not just because you get clear upfront, all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule installation as soon as the next day, but also because you can get a free in-home estimate from a dedicated flooring professional, a flooring psycho and sicko. No need to punch your microphone, Gerald. I'm telling you the truth. You don't need to doubt me. Pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space and see how it looks with your furniture in your house, and then get installation the next day. And right now, when you schedule a free in-home estimate today, you can get a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. That's right. $350 off discount. That's basically what the Suns would pay Jordan Goodwin if they waive him before January 7th. $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireData.com/PHNX for full details. I don't need to give you any more details about myself and my personal life, but I will. I'm a Desert Financial Credit Union freak, baby. Listen, I love DFCU. My only gripe, though, is that I've been a member of DFCU for so long, since I was in high school last year, and I didn't get my $200 in bonuses. But don't be like me and get in early. Get in now and get your $200 in bonuses, because Desert Financial Credit Union will give you that just for opening up a free checking account online. And for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that just make lives better, like giving you money. Who else does that? Desert Financial Credit Union does that. They can start with the basics, checkings and savings accounts, but as life gets more complicated, they help you out. Mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. And again, when you open a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. I like what Ricardo's saying in the chat. Banton #1. That's
How did
right.
you sign in from a burner from right in front of me?
That's
That's crazy.
PHNX's #1 fan in Puerto Rico. That is Ricardo.
Love it. Thanks, Ricardo.
Thank you so much. Monte Morris is not on our list, but somebody's saying about Monte Morris. I think that's interesting. I just think his time here is probably up.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
I know for a fact Monte was not pleased with the role that he had last year and how inconsistent it was. And obviously it's a new coaching staff and whatnot. But if they wanted Monte, they could have gotten him at any point in time already.
And we are not counting restricted free agents, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, because you'd have to sign and trade for like a Giddey or a Kuminga that we talked about yesterday.
Infamous in the chat brings up a great point. Tons of people watching. Not a ton of likes. What is it? Y'all are mad that they're hating on Delano Banton? Me too. I still like the stream, okay? We can all get through this hatred and division together. Hit that like button. Okay. Let's keep it going on the Delano Banton tier here. And let's talk about Cam Payne. We saw one point guard return to the Phoenix Suns. What about another?
I love Cam Payne. I want to preface this.
That being said, he's way better than Delano Banton.
That being said, I'm going like 13, 14
Yeah, this
range.
is close to the bottom for me.
Like I would honestly rather evaluate what Jared Butler could bring. As much as Cam Payne, like if he came back, that would be awesome. You restore the vibes, but I'm pretty sure Gambo already shot this one down. And I just, I would rather take a flyer on a guy like a Jared Butler and see what younger guys have got than kind of go with another retread, especially when you just brought back Goodwin.
Yeah, he had his moment during the playoffs for the Knicks, and I don't think they get to the conference finals without him having that 2 or 3 game sustained kind of moment where he was bringing that spark off the bench that he did for the Suns in the 2021 finals appearance run.
Yeah.
That being said, though, outside of that, it wasn't much fun with Cam Payne on the court for the Knicks, because if he's not knocking down his threes, if he's not finishing at the rim, he's not really giving you much creation. He's not a plus defender. He's an average defender, but he's not a plus guy that's going to shift things for you. It's like, what's the value that he's bringing? So for me with that, he's not the player that he was when he left the Suns. And because of that, as well as Jordan Goodwin being around and Colin Gillespie and the makeup of the 2 starting guards, I don't think this makes the most sense for them.
I think what I said at the beginning of this show about how I like that Jordan Goodwin can play alongside a lot of these other guards.
Yeah.
I think Cam Payne and Colin Gillespie do have a lot of overlap as a guard that's going to push the pace, going to try to, get the offense going faster and take some shots and whatnot. I'm done with the Cam Payne experience. I think he's carved out a hell of a career for himself after it kind of fell apart in OKC. Obviously, he's a part of one of the more fun teams that we had here in Phoenix, but, it is what it is. And no, Abdul Nader is not on our list. Sorry. Okay.
We're not in the conference finals.
We're not. Okay, so we had one number 1 overall pick in here, Ben Simmons.
Yes.
How about another number 1 overall pick whose career has been derailed, but more so than Simmons, Markelle Fultz?
I would have had him higher before the Goodwin news again. I am probably somewhere in that 11 range. I think 11 might be where I'd slot him.
I think 11's fair. I am to a fault a Markelle Fultz believer.
Yeah.
I covered the Pac-12 when he was playing for Washington. He was a surefire number 1 overall pick. Obviously, the shoulder stuff is crazy and so sad. Are you a Markelle Fultz believer on the margins, Stephen?
For the Suns, no. For him, yes. I think he found some things with the Kings last season. He just needs another opportunity and one that's not abbreviated. If he has some time to kind of build and get used to and build chemistry with the team and the system, I think he can find some success with someone, but not with the Suns, unfortunately.
Do we want to move him lower, or is 11 okay? Because we still have some good names that we're getting into here.
Let's move him to 13 and move Campaign to 14. Because I would rather take I would take a flyer on Markelle Fultz's draft stock and the fact that he's a 6'4" guard who can defend well over Campaign at this point.
Yo, dog, I heard you like guards. So we got you guards and more guards.
Yeah.
How about DeLon Wright? I've also been a DeLon Wright believer.
I was too, but it just really hasn't materialized the last few years the way that I thought that it would. So I'm going like 15. I'd rather just bring back a fan favorite in Campaign than go that route.
Are you that low on DeLon?
I think he would have to be ahead of Campaign.
Okay.
So Payne 15, Fultz 14. Y'all cool with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
And so you want DeLon Wright at 13 then, or do you want DeLon Wright at 14 instead of Markelle Fultz? So would you rather have
Markelle? I would rather Markelle. So we can go 13, 14, 15.
DeLon Wright is 33 years old.
Yeah. He is not.
He's been around for a minute, man.
Yeah, he has.
He has been. And I did not know he was 33 though.
Yeah,
I would have guessed like 28.
I remember being surprised like 2 or 3 years ago when I was like, DeLon Wright would be a good third point guard, and being like, damn, he's 31.
Yeah. Folks, we finally got to the portion of our remaining free agent list that we're no longer talking about guards. So let's set the scene for those of you on audio. D'Anthony Melton is at 3. Ben Simmons is at 5. Malcolm Brogdon at 6. Russell Westbrook at 8. My GOAT, Delano Banton at 9. Gary Payton at 10. Jared Butler at 12. Markelle Fultz at 13. DeLon Wright at 14. Campaign at 15. That leaves 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, and 16. Let's get into some forwards. A name that I'm intrigued by, and I would offer part of the MLE for, Amir Coffey. Even though maybe there's a little overlap there with some of the other shooters on this roster, he's a little bigger. And I think that if you can add him on this roster, I would be a lot more willing to trade a Grayson Allen or a Royce O'Neal. Where are we standing? We have 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, and 16. I don't think he's double digits for me.
No, I'm probably putting him around 6 or 7. I wouldn't put him above Ben Simmons personally, just because, okay, you're adding another 6'7" shooting guard. He's got more size than most of your shooting guards, but you should probably have a deal lined up for Royce O'Neal or Grayson Allen if you make this type of move, especially if you're dipping into your MLE. So I would maybe say like 6, but Steven, where would you have him?
I would put him at 6. I'll go ahead of Malcolm Brogdon.
I would agree with that.
He's a player that I'm not gonna say high on, but for the role that he would play, what made him successful with the Clippers last season, I think the Suns could replicate a lot of that. And if he sustains, that's a player that can outperform the contract that you're gonna give him if he's shooting close to 40%, as he did last season, 42.3% on 222 catch and shoot 3-point attempts. So that's a player with positional size that also gets after on a defensive end 42.
All right. So we have Amir Coffey, our first forward, sliding in at 6. What about another forward? Trey Lyles. Now, I think we're going to maybe have to break up the 12 through 15.
For Trey Lyles?
I'm not high on him.
No?
Not compared to the other forwards we're going to talk about. At least the next couple.
I think that's fair. I would, just maybe because 11? We're talking about forwards compared to guard. Like if they hadn't just signed a guard,
that's fair.
I would have him much lower. But because they did, I might have him above like I would have him somewhere in that 8 to 11 range.
11 for me. I'm not a Trey Lyles believer. Am I wrong, Stephen? Like I'm wrong about Delano Banton?
There's no comparing the two, first of all.
Exactly. Delano Banton's way better.
One has actually played.
Anyway,
minutes.
I would say Trey Lyles, though he would in theory address a need for the Suns in terms of a spacing front court player.
Mm-hmm.
In theory. But in actuality, his three-pointer just hasn't sustained in a relevant manner, nor do defenses guard him in the way that someone that has that would. So is he down there with Payne?
I wouldn't hate it. I have another name on my list that I'm.
Let's bump down DeLon Wright and campaign, put him at 14 because I'd probably still rather have Markelle Fultz, but I don't think I'd want a 33-year-old DeLon Wright.
By the way, we're going to have a name that we're going to have to bump off this graphic because we have 5 names left in 4 spots.
Ooh.
So Trey can be off it then for me.
Well, okay, let's just get to this because
might as well do
I'm looking at Cam Reddish. I don't want Cam Reddish anywhere near this team. I'm not a Cam Reddish believer. I don't think that he fits in with this culture. I'd rather have Trey Lyles than Cam Reddish.
I would rather have Cam Reddish than Trey
Really?
Lyles.
I don't.
I would rather have Cam Reddish than Trey Lyles and Cameron Payne.
All right. So let's just go. Here are all the names that are left.
Let's just bump off DeLon Wright. He's 33 years old.
That's fine.
That's cool. That's cool.
All right. And then, so do we want to put we want to put Lyles at 15?
Lyles at 15
instead of DeLon Wright.
Yeah. And then we'll put who did we just talk about?
Okay, Cam Reddish.
Cam Reddish
can go 14.
I'll put him 14.
I would prefer him over the 15 and 16, but significantly less than 13.
Do you remember when Anthony Edwards and them were in high school? He was like, "Who's the most talented player you ever played against?" And it was like Cam Reddish, but he said it with like a smile on his face. Like he was like not being serious at all.
It's rude.
He knew. Okay, here's an interesting name: Chris Boucher. We have 1, 2, 3, and 11 left. I would put him not at 11. I would put him in single digits personally.
I'd go 4.
Yeah, I think 4. I would rather have him than Simmons. He is maybe the best combination of young and stretch big that we have remaining on this list, Steven.
I don't know that he's young though. He's 32.
He's not young.
I forgot.
He's not young. But
why are some of these guys so old? I thought he was at least not 30 yet.
He spent a lot of time with the Raptors.
He did.
Yeah.
You kind of forget about them.
I thought they aged differently up north. My bad.
Leaving that one alone. 37.5% on catch and shoot threes last season on 176 3-point attempts. A player that scored also 202 points at the rim, 68% at the rim. That ranks 86th percentile in efficiency. Talk about a player that can pop, they can roll, they can short roll, they can space, they can attack closeouts. They can be a kind of tertiary option for your offense. I like it. Especially for the price that he would be coming at to address the need in the front court of someone that if no one else can shoot threes and that will shoot threes, he certainly will. And his track record over his career the last couple of years suggests that he'll make them at a respectable clip. So I like the prospects of Chris Boucher at 4.
Gerald, would you dip into the MLE? We're talking what, 5.7?
5.1, I think.
$5.1 million for a stretch 4, stretch 5.
I think that hard caps you. So personally, no. Especially if he's taking minutes from Ryan Dunn and Rasheer Fleming. I think he would, and I don't think he's good enough to warrant that with the direction that they're going in.
But a vet min you'd be okay with?
Vet min, sure. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, that's what I was speaking to.
Yeah. Especially because I feel like there was that one year he had a couple years back where he was shooting like 38% from 3. He was averaging just under like 2 blocks. It felt like he was going to be, a floor spacing big who can also protect the rim a little bit. And then that never really materialized the last couple years from 3. He shot 36% last year, 33, 33, and 30 the last 3 years before that. So I'm cool with 4. I honestly might rather have Ben Simmons just because of the pick and roll thing, but I'm cool with 4.
I would, now that you bring it up, I would rather Ben Simmons too.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I've been on the Ben Simmons train for this team for a little bit. I do like the idea though, because as much as I don't want him to take away minutes from a Rasheer Fleming or whatnot, like At the same time, we don't have a stretch big option.
That's what I was gonna say. Somebody got to space it viably in that front court for this offense to work.
And I just think that he's not going to be good enough to where it's like you're not going to play Rasheer Fleming because of him. But on a night where you need a stretch big option, or you could play those two together, and now you have a 4 and a 5 that in theory can shoot. I do find that interesting a little bit more so than the pick and roll, but I think Ben Simmons is a better defender.
Yeah.
And slides into that 4 spot as the best defender there and the defender of big. So I'm fine with him 4-5. I'm not going to get angry about that.
I like it 5-4. Boucher Simmons.
I'll be honest, I'd rather see Rasheer Fleming taking threes than Chris Boucher.
I mean, I'd rather see it, but if it doesn't work out, then you have nothing.
Not even just from a perspective of I want to see him taking more threes and getting more minutes. I would put more stock in him being able to make threes next year than Chris Boucher.
Interesting. I guess he's just an unknown because he's a rookie. I would like to give him the leeway to at least try.
Are y'all fine with him at 5, or would you bump him down?
I'm good with 5.
I'm okay with 5, probably because of the price that's coming with Amir Coffey. Gotcha. If you can get Boucher on a Vetman or Coffey on the MLE, probably go Boucher on a Vetman.
Agreed. Whoever's coming that's least expensive. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Sure. Al Horford is up next.
Mm-hmm.
The best shooting big that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest guy on this list. We bumped DeLon right off because he's old.
Mm-hmm.
Al Horford is old, but
yep.
Is he the best player that we've talked about overall today?
Absolutely.
Yes.
He is number 1.
Yeah.
For the tangible skill that he brings, but the intangibles that he would allow for in leadership, but also in grooming all of these young bigs, including Mark Williams, on how to be an effective player on the margins and to build a long-lasting career if your health sustains. 1,000% Al Horford.
Great. He would be a great vet for this team too.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk price.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the few guys that I might dip into that MLE for. We know that he's probably going to sign with the Warriors. They're probably just waiting for the Kuminga situation to resolve itself. They've also got Gary Payton II, who's still kind of in limbo for that same reason. So I'm pretty sure that deal is probably just going to go through, and it's not even going to be an option for the Suns. But we're talking about remaining free agents and their fit with the Suns. He is a guy that throughout his career has played both front court spots, and obviously he's 39 now. He's not capable of defending at that level anymore, but he's still a capable player. He's still a very good locker room guy. The wisdom that he could impart on some of these young bigs, and the fact that he's one of the few stretch bigs that you could actually trust on this roster. Because we know Kaman Malawach is going to get up threes. We have no idea how that's going to go. Rasheer Fleming, we don't know what kind of minutes he's going to get. So I would say 1.
I'll say honestly, if you were to bring in Al Horford on a portion of the MLE, if he was to be the Suns starting 4 going into the season, I would not be mad at it.
No, I think he would be.
I would not be mad at it in any capacity. You talk about wanting to play double bigs. That's a guy that can literally space it, make quick decisions for you, can be the person that's screening, do a lot of the little things. And I think more important than anything, him teaching everybody else on this team how to screen effectively would have resounding value that even that MLE wouldn't even evaluate to.
And I think it'd be great with a rookie head coach as well. I think having a vet like that who's seen 2 decades of NBA basketball, who's been through so many different iterations of NBA basketball and has evolved as a big man over the years, especially with the 3-point shot. I really do think that he would be a great addition for this team. He's your certified starting power forward. Like, there's not even a question about it, at least to start the season. And then maybe as the season goes on, if age finally does catch up to that beautiful man, or if like somebody else like Rasheer Fleming, that one got you, huh? Like Rasheer Fleming is hooping, right? Or come on, Malawach and Mark Williams works together. I think he'd have no problem taking a backseat and eventually giving up that starting role. But I would like it.
Other thing for me with Al, talk about him teaching guys how to be effective screeners, learning the art of screening. I think the other thing that might even be more valuable than that is him teaching all of those younger guys the art of playing drop coverage.
Yeah.
You can play drop coverage 10 different ways, but if you're not specific with certain skills and your footwork and understanding angles within it, none of it's going to be effective. He can play an activity-based drop. He can play a way-back drop and still be effective. He's generally one of the best over the last 10 to 15 years at it. I would love to see him with the Suns. And it would feel like a little too late because I wish he was here when he left Oklahoma City, like we talked about a few weeks ago, Gerald, behind DeAndre Ayton. But he would still have that imparting of wisdom in ways that Chris Paul had when he was here.
Yeah, and that drop coverage is big for Mark Williams, who is predominantly in that realm, and for Kaman Malwatch, who's going to be a rookie and needing to learn those types of things.
And while he's old and maybe there are injury concerns with him, there are also injury concerns with Mark Williams, and having another big in there that can play alongside Kaman Malwatch, can play alongside a Nick Richards, or even play alongside a Rasheer Fleming or Ryan Dunn or whatever it might be. I think that's important. So here's our list as it stands right now with 2 names remaining. Al Horford at 1, blank space at 2. I'll write your name. 3, D'Anthony Melton. 4, Ben Simmons. 5, Chris Boucher. 6, Amir Coffey. 7, Malcolm Brogdon. 8, Russell Westbrook. 9, Delano Banton. 10, Gary Payton. 11 is blank. 12 is Jared Butler. 13 is Markelle Fultz. 14 is Cam Reddish. 15 is Trey Lyles. And 16 is Cam Payne. We've got 2 names left, including a very divisive name among the Suns community. We're going to get into all of that and more. If you're watching on TV, the party always continues over at gophnx.com. It is time for overtime here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well for a breaking news early edition. If you're just joining us, we spent the first 15 minutes of our show breaking down Jordan Goodwin's fit with the Phoenix Suns after they claimed him off of waivers from the Los Angeles Lakers. Talked about the financials that go into there as well. We would have Jordan Goodwin, anywhere from 7 to 11-ish range on this list if he was still available. So the Suns got a pretty decent pickup, and right now we're ranking the remaining free agents with their fit with the Suns. We'll save the big name for last.
Okay.
Precious Achiuwa first.
He's somewhere in the 2 to 4 range for me, maybe 2 to 5. But I'm open to being swayed on this one. Steven, where would you have him?
Talk about margins. Talk about those ancillary multiple efforts. Talk about blue collar guys that help to build out lineups. Precious would address a lot of those things. Talk about someone that's going to get after it on the offensive rebounds. He's a player that if he can sustain on the defensive end and provide that activity that you desire, gives you a little bit of vertical spacing on offense, gives you someone that's active on the boards. Those extra possessions, I feel like, are something the Suns just did not have last year. 9 times out of 10, if you looked at the final box score, their opponents took more shots than them. Not only because they were turning the ball over, but also because of the lack of ability to crash the glass to end defensive possessions. Precious will help you with that, and I don't think you'll have to play him a significant amount of minutes to get that impact too. So I feel like if you can get him at the minimum, he's a player that can outperform that contract as well.
So, Precious Achiuwa or Al Horford?
Al
Horford. Yeah.
Precious Achiuwa or D'Anthony Melton?
I'm leaning Melton.
I would go Precious.
Precious Achiuwa or Ben Simmons?
I would go Ben.
So you would have Precious over D'Anthony but below Ben?
Precious over D'Anthony but below Ben.
Is that correct? So that would probably put Ben Simmons up to 2, Precious 3, Melton at 4. If we're going off Stevens, but we're a team here, Gerald. So
right.
What are you thinking?
3 is more, it's Ben Simmons and D'Anthony Melton are more so 1A and 1B than anything for me.
Yeah.
I err slightly on Ben being the 1A because of the primary creation and how that aligns with everyone else.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I'm good with that order.
I'm good
what
with
about
it
you?
too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good with it. Ben Simmons might be a little high. But
I think we talked ourselves into Ben Simmons because of A, the size that he brings, B, the defense, and C, the fact that you have like 2 guys that you can trust to run a pick and roll on this offense right now.
And the other thing with the pick and roll is also the inverse of it. Who's going to be able to hit the short roll? If Devin Booker and Jalen Green are getting double teamed, teams are going to err on the Suns' bigs making plays. And if no one can make plays, then you take away the floor of their offense, you take away points. Easy avenue to kind of beating them in certain ways in certain pockets. If Ben Simmons is there, whether he's running it and he's inverting pick and roll with the guards, or he's running it with bigs, or he's screening for people and rolling, that's a problem. That's an advantage you can always create.
Tony is not happy in the chat that we keep on moving Ben Simmons up. He wants Ben Simmons off the list. Sorry, Tony.
Off the list.
Bro,
look at the guys on the list.
This is Delano Banton disrespect. Okay. Al Horford, Ben Simmons, D'Anthony Melton, Precious Achiuwa. Out of the top 4, Achiuwa's the only one who hasn't been A, ruled out by Gambo, or B, tied to the Golden State Warriors, which makes Precious Achiuwa kind of like the best balance of a player that you could acquire that might be on the table. Now, I didn't ask this when we talked about Precious. Is that somebody that you're willing to dip into the MLE for? Because he is top 4 on the list and the one who's most likely to be available. So is that 5.1 on the table for Precious?
I think it'd have to be to get him, honestly. I don't know that. I mean, I guess the market is pretty suppressed right now, so maybe he winds up signing for a vet min. We said there was no way the Suns would get Tyus Jones, and he wound up being a vet min last year. Mm-hmm. So I think he would probably go for closer to the taxpayer MLE, but I would try to avoid it if you could, if you are trying to get Precious. It's not that big of a difference, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the hard capping thing is something to consider there.
Would you give him the MLE? Well, the MLE that now you have left after paying Jordan Goodwin?
I would say, yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would. And this is me deciding like in this exact moment.
Right.
Yeah, I would.
But not to Chris Boucher, correct?
Not for Boucher.
So Boucher's a vet man. Would you do it for Amir Coffey?
How old is Precious, by the way?
Oh, he's in his 20s.
I know
Precious Achiuwa's
like
33, then I don't know
25,
what's real
25?
anymore.
Okay.
He'll turn 26 in September.
So he's a year younger than I thought he was, so that makes me even more inclined to say
He'll
yes.
turn 26 in September, so it's coming up. But yeah.
I would be with that.
So we're saying no on the MLE to Boucher, yes to Achiuwa, yes to Amir Coffey, and that's why he's at 6? Or are we saying no to Amir Coffey? I'm just looking at the top players here and what we might be willing to pay them.
I think for 1 through 6, or at least 4 through 6, you're probably looking at dipping into the MLE a little bit.
Okay.
I would imagine. I'd probably be most opposed to doing it for Boucher out of those 3.
What about in Simmons? Are you guys willing to do the MLE for, or is that just strictly vet min?
If he's top 3, then he has to be
the MLE.
So yeah, for me, yeah.
No concerns with out of all the players up top, Ben Simmons is the most injury prone. Maybe besides D'Anthony Melton.
I was going to say it's DM for sure.
Sorry, 2 and 3.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's the end of July. We're talking about Delano Banton, D'Anthony Melton, Malcolm Brogdon. Like, all of these guys have not been signed for a reason. So there is that to consider. And some of these guys haven't been signed because they're just waiting on the Kuminga stuff to wrap up.
Mm-hmm. Well, but we have one more name to talk about here. We've ranked 16. Technically, we're going to get to 17 because DeLon Wright got kicked off the list. And this is another player that used to play for the Phoenix Suns and one that has been very divisive in his last couple of years here. Still a free agent. It's Bol Bol. We have the 11th spot open out of 16. Is that where we're putting Bol Bol? And do we think that he deserves another chance here in Phoenix, obviously at a veteran's minimum contract?
Again, I think if they wanted to do that, it would be done already. I would bump up Jared Butler and Markelle Fultz and put him at 13, personally.
Would you agree with that, Stephen?
Mm-hmm. I'd rather have him back than Cam Reddish and Trey Lyles and campaign.
I agree with that. It's so tough because if you're really looking at beyond Russell Westbrook down, as far as like offensive flashes go, because obviously Gary Payton brings the defense, but the offense just isn't there. Bol Bol has shown the most and has hit the highest highs on the NBA level there. Maybe besides campaign, who we agree is down at 16. And I know that, and I'll play devil's advocate like I had to yesterday for our RFAs, because the problem with, and in essence, the good part about Bol Bol is that the highs are so damn high. And offensively, what have we talked about today? We don't want another guard because they just got Jordan Goodwin. And if we're going to get a big, what kind of big do we want? A stretch big, one that can shoot the 3. In theory, Bol Bol is that, and is a guy that can, when he's on, create his own shot. But also, maybe out of everybody on this list, he might be the worst defensive player out here. I get the people that are fascinated with Bol Bol. I really do. But I think it's time for the Suns to move on from the bowler coaster and see what else they can get from the remaining free agent spot that they have open.
Right. Like you said it, like Bol Bol, the highs are high, but you could say that about like heroin. That doesn't mean it's good for you.
Dude.
It doesn't mean it's good for you.
Okay. All right. We can't call Bol Bol heroin, dude.
He's addictive, right? But it doesn't mean it's good for your team. I broke Erik with that one.
When I woke up this morning, I did not.
You weren't
I
expecting
did
that
not
one, were you?
think that I would hear world-renowned journalist Gerald Bourguet compare Bol Bol
Well, no. Let's not do that.
to heroin. Well, then what did you do, Gerald?
I don't know.
You're tired. It's okay.
I am tired.
It is kind of like a drug for this fan base. Though.
It is though. It's
Maybe not heroin. Maybe heroin's a little harsh.
weed.
Sure. I think that makes sense. Is there any argument, Stephen, for the Suns to take a shot on Bol Bol, the vet man? And we've used this a lot this offseason when talking about how guys are gonna, how the Suns are gonna get the most out of some of these unique fits.
Mm-hmm.
Bol Bol has not been maybe given the fair shake in a lot of people's mind from a coaching staff perspective. Now you could argue, what did he do to earn the treatment that he got as far as playing time goes on and off the court? Does Jordan Ott and him being the offensive genius behind the Cleveland Cavaliers, who employed two very tall centers and one that has a lot more skill on the perimeter, is there any reason, Stephen, to think maybe third time is the charm with Jordan Ott leading the way?
I don't think so, unfortunately. I do think Bol has a place in the league with someone's team. I just don't think the way that the context is shifted for the Suns and everything that they're looking to work towards under Jordan Ott, don't know if he aligns with what it is that they're working towards.
They want dogs. They want hard workers. Based on, I understand, especially the first year, not getting a fair shake under Vogel. I understand that we had a lot of problems with Mike Budenholzer and the way that he ran things here. But based on what I've heard, I don't think that he aligns with what the Suns want their identity to be moving forward. So, and again, if they wanted it to happen, they could have done it at any point to this point. They still have an open roster spot. We have not heard an inkling about Bol Bol or any of the other Suns remaining free agents. So I don't think Bol is happening.
Well, this is our list. Al Horford at 1, Ben Simmons at 2, DeAnthony Melton at 3, Precious Achiuwa at 4, Chris Boucher at 5, Amir Coffey at 6, Malcolm Brogdon at 7, Russell Westbrook at 8, my GOAT at 9, Gary Payton at 10, Jared Butler at 11, Markelle Fultz at 12, Bol Bol at 13, Cam Reddish at 14, Trey Lyles at 15, and Cam Payne at 16. Looking at these 16 remaining names and knowing that DeLon Wright is bumped off the list and obviously Jordan Goodwin has been signed, do we want to do any moving and shaking here? Steggy Source in the chat with a great point, saying Banton higher.
Stop. How many burners are you operating without your hands on your keyboard? It's really impressive.
You have made Banton Nation angry.
Erik, you asked the question?
Bantation.
You asked the question?
I did ask the question.
Upon further review?
Oh, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Gary Payton has a championship ring playing a specific role for a team when defenses just completely neglect him when he's on the offensive end of the floor.
It's a good point, Steve.
I would put Gary Payton.
I'm not doing it. Nope. I'm standing my ground. I let you. No. Stop, Freckled Mamba. No.
No, go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. Go ahead. He knows it's true.
Let this go on for too long.
He knows it's true. Yeah, but he can't. He can't shoot.
He's injury prone and he can't shoot.
Yes, but you don't get the ring.
What is
the best thing? What is the best thing that Delano
percentage?
Banton is going to bring to the Suns?
Size.
Is the size that he's bringing going to have more impact than Gary Payton's defense or Gary Payton's short role playmaking would have?
Even you said it yourself. Jordan Goodwin overlaps with Gary Payton II. You basically got Gary Payton III here in Jordan Goodwin.
Yes, but I also
Delano Banton fills a different role. He's younger. He's worth a shot at a vet minimum to see if you can have some dude who has a 6'8" guard and who has skills that I think can be developed in this league and I think has a spot in this league. I think it is blasphemous to get into my Stephen A. Smith to move him down to 10. I would much rather take a shot on Delano Banton. If we were trying to win a championship this year, if this was last season and we're going into this saying, the Suns are going to be a top 3 seed in the West, then you give me Gary Payton. You give me the guy with championship pedigree. Our over-under is 31.5 wins. Take a shot on the 6'8" young guard over Gary Payton II, who's injured and who can't shoot the ball.
Okay. To the not shooting the ball thing,
Delano Banton couldn't shoot until
Gary Payton has a better 3-point percentage than Delano Banton. So there's that.
If we're talking about defense for defense, Gary Payton is significantly better.
Give me
than
Delano. I don't care.
I think you made a good point in saying that the context of the team. If they were contending, then Gary Payton. But
again, we're ranking
Delano.
off fit for the team.
That being said, 9-10, Payton 2, Delano Benton.
No. No. We're not ending the stream until we put Delano Benton back at 9.
I'm the tiebreaker.
That review guy, he was just using his inside voice.
I think I'm the tiebreaker.
That wasn't really yelling. He was using his inside
What
voice.
if we move Peyton to 8, Russ to
I'm not mad at it.
10, and Delano to 9?
Okay.
Would you feel better?
Y'all made me feel like crap for putting Delano Benton above Russell Westbrook, and now we're gonna do that and move Gary Payton up to 8.
I'm trying to find a compromise because you're beside yourself.
I would go Russ 9, but I'm willing to move the goalpost some for you to have Delano Benton at 9 over Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I would have
2025.
I would have had Russ at 8, Peyton at 9, and Banton at 10. But we're just trying to appease everyone so we can all go home happy.
No.
If you're not going to go home happy, then move his ass to 11.
It's the worst way. My vacation is ruined. Stop it, freckled mama. You put it back on the graphic right now. Right now.
We're expanding to a top 25.
It's gonna be really funny. Like, we're gonna be halfway through the season. And it's gonna be like, remember when remember when I was yelling about Delano Banton? Anyway, Al Horford, Ben Simmons, DeAnthony Melton, Precious Achiuwa, Chris Boucher, Amir Coffey, Malcolm Brogdon, Gary Payton II, Delano Banton, Russell Westbrook, Jared Butler, Markelle Fultz, Bol Bol, Cam Reddish, Trey Lyles, campaign. Are we good now?
Erik, Delano Benton or Ryan Dunn? Answer it
Ryan
honestly.
Dunn. Ryan Dunn.
Are you sure?
Yes,
so he hasn't
Ryan Dunn.
completely
Ryan
lost
Dunn
his
would be
mind.
number 1 on this list.
He hasn't completely lost his mind yet.
I had to check the post.
Gosh.
Reel him in slowly.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button for more Delano Banton content coming to you live on PHNX Suns. There you go. That's a good one. You're going to get a lot more of that over the next week and some change. Starting tomorrow, I will be on vacation. I'll be back on August 4th. So these two will be holding it down. But trust me, they've got some really fun stuff in the works and planned. Ashley asked Gobert or Banton. I'll say this.
Gobert Glazer over here.
I'll say this. Huh. I'm not thrilled that less than a year into my on-air career for PHNX Suns, I'm known as the Gobert Glazer and the Delano Banton guy. Now, did I do it to myself? Yes.
That's some accountability. I love it.
Am I happy about it? Kind of. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
Don't worry. When you gone tomorrow, we'll bring the list back up every time. And we'll make another.
I'm driving in from California. I'm just going to call it. No. Start talking about my goat again.
Our whole show tomorrow is just going to be revising this list.
The cold open is going to be Ayrton with the screen up and just making some quick adjustments. And
I'm going to check back in tomorrow. The stream is going to be called Why Delano Ban is the Worst Possible Decision for the Phoenix Suns.
There you go.
But listen, yes, I'll be taking a much needed break. I will be completely unplugged. So yes, that means I'll be out of our diehard Discord. I'll be mostly off of Twitter, but Lord knows it'll drag me back in if something happens. Glad that we got the signing out of the way today. Still one more roster spot. Still a lot more going on to break down with this team. There's no better crew to break down the actual basketball with the Phoenix Suns than PHNX Suns right here. And I know we're getting into the doldrums of summer, but that's where we are really going to make it worth it for you.
Shine.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
August and September.
This is for the psychos and the sickos. So continue to unite every single day at 3 o'clock here. Keep it tuned to PHNX Sports. I have a couple things recorded that'll be coming out over the next week and a half. So if you miss turning your volume down all the time, you can check in on that one. But make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you're always over at gophnx.com. Become a diehard today. $36 deal because of Cardinals training camp that kicked off earlier today as an intro deal. Get a free hat or a free t-shirt when you sign up. Access to all of Gerald's articles, including the article that just went live yesterday where there were 5 more trades about the Suns getting under the second apron that we didn't go over on yesterday's show that you can find at gophnx.com. Plus lots of player breakdowns from the video perspective, from Stephen, from a written perspective, from Gerald. We have you covered on every single player on the roster. Hell, we ranked campaign and Delano Banton today because we know that you're psychos and sickos just like us. Appreciate all of you joining us in the chat. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns on Twitter and on Instagram, so you would know when we're going live early for a breaking news pod, or when the latest Suns news went down, or what Jalen Green had to say in his Players Tribune article. We had that covered on our socials earlier today, again, at PHNX_Suns. You can follow the man behind the Mac, making my heart break, dragging Delano Banton off the graphic, at Freckled Mamba, a.k.a. Juice Man, a.k.a. Ayrton. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Stephen, don't call him Steve, at Stephen PG3. That is Stephen with a PH, and don't you forget it, because he balances us out. And you can follow me, Delano Banton's #1 supporter and the Go Bear Glazer, at ERIKRUBY. They'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you in August.
We all silly like the mayor.